Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you've missed out on the majority of what's been a rather lively debate on the future of the Democratic Alliance post the election of John Steenhuisen as party leader, interim party leader. I'm still with Race Relations Campaigns Coordinator at the IRR, Herman Pretorius, as well as political analyst Prince Mashele. Gentlemen, I want to talk to you about something else. Let's move away from John Steenhuisen, and I'll begin with you, Herman, and talk about these rumours, the reports we're hearing about the now former DA leader, Mmusi Maimane, possibly going to form a political platform, shall we call it like that way, to quote from Mampele Rampele. Would that succeed?
I think not. I genuinely think not. If you are handed the crown jewel of opposition politics, as it were, the official opposition position, and you cannot lead that, then I think voters pass their judgment quite brutally. I think there might be some momentum or some interest in the beginning of creating a party, perhaps a Jobs and Justice Party for Mr. Maimane and Mr. Mashaba, but I think in the long term, I genuinely can't see that party being distinguished enough so as to create a constituency and, as Mr. Mashele was saying correctly earlier during the break, to position itself effectively within a coalition future.
Prince Mashele, is any political formation, especially a new one, led by Mmusi Maimane, possibly dead in the water?
No, it will depend on a few factors. It will depend, number one, on who he brings into the fold. There is no question that South Africans are frustrated, and I do listen to South Africans talking in the media, that they are frustrated with the ANC, they're also frustrated with the DA, they are also frustrated with the EFF. So there is space for some new political party to enter. But such a party will not become a ruling party. There must be no illusions about it. What it could possibly do, it can amass enough votes in order to reduce the ANC so that on the basis of that, you have discussions for a coalition government in 2024 or 2029. That's the best it can do. But it will depend on who else becomes part of the party. If Mmusi Maimane, for example, were to stand up tomorrow and announce that he's forming a party, and when we look, we only see him, South Africans will actually have no confidence. They would like to see a groundswell of people joining him and being part of that arrangement, whatever arrangement.
I want to touch on something else that came out, Herman, in your favourite conversation, your favourite subject, polling, because what we're hearing now is that South Africa is going towards a more uncertain decade in politics, at least electorally, where it'll be more difficult to predict who is likely to win which province or even the national poll. Some saying that our future, in fact, is in coalition parties. That depends on whether you believe that. What is going to be needed to sustain the big three in South African politics currently, ANC, DA and EFF, strategically?
I think that's a very good question. It's in fact a very, very good question. I'm not quite sure I have a perfect answer, but I have something of an answer. The ANC must retain its position as the only unifying party. If it wants to govern in the longer term, it must go beyond just being a liberation movement, and it must go back to the good old days. And by that I mean 2004, 2005, 2006, when economic growth was 3%, 4%, 5% GDP per year. It needs to go back to the party, essentially, of saying economic growth and redress and struggle liberation folded into one. The EFF, I think, are in the most perilous position of the three major parties, and I think we'll see this unfolding over December, and I think we've already seen something of it unfolding with Mr. Ndlozi's tweet regarding the quote-unquote fake unity after the Rugby World Cup. I think the EFF is very much dependent on a form of strong racial identity politics, strong racial grouping. So to maintain its relevance, it needs to maintain that voice, and
okay.
To swiftly conclude, the DA needs to position itself as a true liberal party.
Prince, notes for all big three.
The ANC must be seen to fight corruption. The ANC is a fundamentally corrupt party. If it does not address corruption...
You and Herman actually agree. I saw him nodding.
Yes.
First time tonight.
No, he must choose whatever to agree with. The ANC must deal with corruption, number one. Number two, the ANC has failed to manage the South African economy properly. So what it has produced, it has actually ballooned the unemployment reservoir. For as long as that happens, it boosts the EFF, because the hopeless young black unemployable South Africans are actually shifting in the direction of the EFF.
And the others?
The DA has chosen to become a narrow white party. It will become smaller. all of these three tell me that there's space for some kind of a new project.
All right. Prince Mashele, Herman Pretorius, thank you so much to both of you for your time tonight. That was the South African Institute of Race Relations Campaigns Coordinator, Herman Pretorius, and political analyst Prince Mashele, joining us tonight on Nightline.